everybody, Dan here, Scootering Magazine, and today we are joined by Stephen Hattersley of WildWood Legal. WildWood are a specialist law firm who cover a number of areas, but one of their specialist departments is helping scooterists. Stephen is a scooterist of 30 plus years and has a regular column in the front of Scootering Magazine. I'll pop some links to subscriptions and single copy deals in the comments below. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, then just check out the column in the front of the magazine. Stephen's email is in there. I'll also pop that in the comments below. And then if you have any questions that stem from these videos, feel free to send them in. Okay, we'll jump straight in and we're going to run through a series of questions which quite often crop up from scooterists and see what answers Stephen can give us. If your scooter is involved in some kind of accident or problem where it needs to go and you're involved in insurers. There was one guy who had an insurer who was insisting that the guy used their recommended garage, but he said they were just a standard repair place and not a scooter specialist, and he wasn't happy about it. He wants to know, does he have to use that garage?
No.
Okay.
Next question. No, it's a short answer, but it is an easy answer. Insurers will tell you this. A lot of the time you get fairly junior people dealing with claims on the phone, and they will have a script in front of them and they will tell you that you have to use their recommended people, be that they're recommended solicitors for claims, be it the recommended garage for repairs. And it's just not right. You don't have to at all. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Your insurance policy will allow you to get your repairs done elsewhere. They all do. And you just need to be a bit firm with the insurer and tell them what you're doing. And the reality is, I mean, insurers don't quite get it sometimes. If you take it to someone who doesn't know what they're doing, it's going to take them twice as long at least to get to the bottom of it. Whereas if you take it to a specialist who knows what they're doing, they're going to be much more switched on, much more easy to get the parts as well. And if you need parts, it's something that you might.
And ultimately, you're going to end up with the repair being a completely better job.
Exactly, yeah. And there is nothing in any insurance policy which says you must use our standard repair company. What they often say is that it has to be one that is VAT registered. And I can see the sense in that, because that tends to mean that if you're VAT registered, it means you're turning over a decent amount of repairs each year. So not just a sort of a one-man band doing bits and bobs.
I mean, ultimately, your insurance, we all believe, we all like to believe it's there. We never want to have to use it. It's a legal requirement. But then quite often, people, end up having to use it. And it seems that then when they do, it almost seems like one of those forgotten areas that they got it because they were legally obliged to get it, but now they need it. Now they start dissecting their policies and seeing what they were actually covered for. But then they almost enter into a battle often with a number of insurers. I mean, I'm sure not all insurers are the same, but all insurers have got the same problem in the fact that they're a business based on statistics. So, does it always have to be a battle?
Well, how many of us can put their hands up and say that we read all the provisions of the insurance policy when we take it out? It's very rare for that to be done. There's such lengthy documents and there's that many clauses in it, and a lot of them be fairly incomprehensible anyway. But it is one of those things, unfortunately. Yeah, you kind of hope that when it comes to that, if you're in a situation where you need to rely on it, you kind of hope that it's going to be there for you. But it's not often the case. It can be quite difficult, and a big chunk of my day every day is arguing with insurers.
We have another chap here who wrote into the magazine, and I think this is probably, I don't know how common this is, but he was knocked off his scooter at a roundabout by a car that cut across his lane and didn't stop. And he didn't get his number plate. So he feels now that he has nobody to claim against. Can he still make a claim of some sort?
We have something lovely in this country called the Motor Insurers Bureau. It's an organisation set up and funded by all road traffic insurers. They all pay into the pot that maintains it. They will cover two situations: either an untraced driver, as in where the person vanished off in this situation, or someone who has been traced but doesn't have any insurance. So the claims can still be made against them. Certain procedures that need to be followed. They can be a bit tricky, but they will tend to pay up in the same way that other insurers will as well. So yeah, it's certainly not a problem at all. As I said, it can be a bit more tricky, but it's more tricky for the solicitor and not something that someone should put off making a claim for.
Right. Okay. In terms of claims, there was a chap who made a claim. He was successful in his claim, but then his solicitor told him that a chunk of his money had to be paid back to the government. And that was because he was receiving benefits whilst he was off with his injury. Should that happen?
Yeah, it's something that most people don't know about until they make a claim. But basically, the rationale behind it is that the government says, well, Mr. X knocks Mr. Y off his bike. Mr. X is at fault. Mr. Y can't work, so he claims some benefits from the government. So the government's out of pocket as a result of it. So why should the government be out of pocket as a result of that guy's negligence? So what happens is when the defendants pay the claimant the compensation, what they have to do is repay the government as well any benefits that have been paid. Now, if there's an overlap, he's not worked, so he's received benefits as a result of that, then those benefits will come out of your award for loss of earnings. And if you think about it, if you didn't do that, you'd effectively be getting paid more than you should, because using rough figures, say you get paid £1,000 in a month normally, but you haven't worked for a month. So you claim £1,000 from the defendants, you get £1,000 back. If you've had £300 of benefits from the government in that time, but for that money going back to the government, you'd be £300 better off than if you hadn't had the accident. So you don't work out any worse off. But yeah, I've had various people who get a bit unhappy with it because it seems like their money's being taken away from them, but in reality they're not. It's just making sure that A, the government's out of pocket, and B, they're not being overcompensated for something.
Great stuff. Well, thanks very much for your time. I'm Dan Clare,
No problem,
Magazine.
pleasure.
You're Stephen Hattersley, WildWood Legal. See everybody on the next video.